It's an ordinary evening. You're curled up at home, maybe watching your favorite show or scrolling through social media. Suddenly, the Wi-Fi cuts out. Frustrating, right? Maybe even a little argument starts. Someone changed the password without telling the other. Annoying, sure. But what if that tiny, insignificant moment triggered something far darker? What if it became the spark that ignited something deadly? This story is not fiction. It happened. And it ended with a young woman's life cut short, not in some war zone or back alley, but in her own living room, at the hands of someone she once trusted and loved. This is the devastating true story of Emma Rivers, a bright and ambitious 23-year-old university student, and her boyfriend, Kyle Jennings, a 26-year-old aspiring tech entrepreneur with a deeply troubling mindset. They shared an apartment, a pet cat named Pixel, and what many thought was a loving relationship. But beneath the surface, something sinister was festering. What started as a minor argument over a changed Wi-Fi password, a digital inconvenience most of us wouldn't think twice about, exposed years of psychological control, gaslighting, digital surveillance, and emotional manipulation. It culminated in a brutal act of violence that left an entire community shaken. This isn't just a case of sudden rage, it's about the hidden patterns of control that can build in silence. About the subtle signs that we ignore, the small compromises we accept, until one day, we find ourselves trapped. Stay with us as we explore the harrowing timeline of this crime, from the seemingly perfect love story, to the subtle signs of coercive control, to the chilling crime scene, and finally to a courtroom where the truth was laid bare. Before we dive in, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to True Crime Hub, and tap the notification bell so you won't miss the deep dives we bring into real-life cases that disturb, haunt, and sometimes teach us how to see the warning signs before it's too late. To the outside world, Emma and Kyle were the picture of a modern couple. They met 2 years earlier through mutual friends at a summer music festival in Asheville, North Carolina. Emma was vivacious, witty, and intelligent. She was pursuing a degree in digital communications and had dreams of working in media production. Kyle was older, confident, charismatic, and charming in the effortlessly cool way that made people gravitate toward him. Their relationship developed quickly. Within a few months, they moved in together in a small but cozy apartment in Charlotte. Friends admired their chemistry. They shared playlists, inside jokes, Sunday brunches, and even adopted a rescue cat. On social media, their love seemed genuine and adorable. But over time, the tone changed. Emma stopped going out with friends as often. She started missing events she once loved, canceling plans last minute with vague excuses like headaches or work stress. Her group chats went quiet. When she did attend gatherings, Kyle was always by her side, always watching, always listening. At first, friends brushed it off as typical relationship nesting. But it soon became clear that something was off. Emma's best friend, Dana, recalled. She just didn't seem present anymore. Like she was always distracted or anxious. You'd ask how she was, and she'd smile, but her eyes didn't match. What Emma wasn't saying was that Kyle had started to change. The playful teasing became critical remarks. The romantic texts turned into constant check-ins. He questioned where she went, who she talked to, and why she needed privacy if she had nothing to hide. He didn't hit her. He didn't yell. But the control was real and suffocating. Kyle's background in programming gave him tools that most abusers only dream of. Quietly, he began monitoring Emma's digital life. He changed their router settings to track every device connected. He installed keyloggers on her laptop and spyware on her phone disguised as battery optimization apps. He even created duplicate recovery emails to intercept her private messages. Emma started noticing odd behaviors. Her phone would restart unexpectedly. Her Google search history would vanish. Conversations with friends were being brought up out of context. When she confronted Kyle, he'd laugh it off. Maybe your phone's glitching, he'd say. Or maybe you're just tired. Gaslighting became routine. Emma began to doubt her own instincts. She began writing private journal entries on an encrypted Google Drive account, trying to document what she couldn't say out loud. In one entry, she wrote, "It's like I'm being watched all the time. He knows things I haven't told him. I feel like I'm going crazy. But what if I'm not?" Emma tried reaching out to her sister, Sarah, during a rare weekend visit. In hushed tones at a coffee shop, she confessed her fears. Sarah begged her to leave. Emma promised she was working on it, but she needed time. Emma's isolation was almost complete. She had lost touch with her parents, her college performance was slipping, and she rarely left the apartment without Kyle. She wasn't just living with her boyfriend anymore, she was living in a surveillance state of one. August 14th, 2023, started like any other day. Emma had made a plan. That morning, she went to the university's campus counseling center. She spoke for over an hour. According to the notes filed afterward, she expressed deep fear, concern over surveillance, and mentioned that she had taken steps to distance herself emotionally. The counselor encouraged her to find a safe exit plan. Emma returned home that afternoon, packed a bag quietly while Kyle was still at work, and wrote a goodbye letter she saved to her encrypted folder. Then she changed the locks, changed her passwords, and finally, changed the Wi-Fi password. To most of us, it would be a simple act of self-protection. But to Kyle, it was war. He came home to find his devices disconnected, his surveillance disabled, his control gone. He pounded on the door. Neighbors later reported hearing shouting, glass breaking, and a woman's voice crying, "Please stop." A neighbor dialed 911. The call came in at 8:14 p.m. There's screaming coming from next door. Loud crashing. Someone's yelling about betrayal or control. Please send help. Police arrived within 12 minutes. But the damage had been done. When officers entered the apartment, they found a nightmare. Emma was lying motionless in the living room, surrounded by broken furniture and a pool of blood. She had been stabbed 17 times. The murder weapon, a kitchen knife, was left nearby, stained and bent. Kyle was seated on the couch, his shirt drenched in blood. He didn't resist arrest. He didn't cry. He didn't speak, until he was asked why. He looked straight at the arresting officer and said, "She tried to lock me out. She changed the password. She thought I wouldn't find out." His voice was calm, flat, chilling. In the days following the murder, investigators pieced together a timeline of escalating psychological abuse and surveillance. Digital forensic experts recovered the hidden apps, backup logs, and even screen recordings Kyle had taken of Emma's activity. One file was simply named, "She's planning to leave." Kyle Jennings was charged with first-degree murder. His defense team argued diminished capacity, claiming he suffered a psychotic break brought on by perceived abandonment. But the prosecution came prepared. They presented Emma's journal entries, her search history, the counseling records, and perhaps most damning, a voice recording Emma had accidentally captured during an argument days before the murder. "I see everything," Kyle said. "You can't hide anything from me. If you try, I'll know. And you'll regret it." In her final journal entry, written just hours before her death, Emma wrote, "If anything happens to me, please let them know. I was trying to leave. I tried. I was scared. But I was done pretending." The jury returned a unanimous guilty verdict. Kyle was sentenced to life in prison without parole. In the wake of Emma's death, her sister Sarah launched the Rivers Rising Foundation, a nonprofit focused on educating young adults about digital domestic abuse. The foundation holds workshops in schools and universities, helping students recognize the signs of technological control. Sarah speaks at conferences, sometimes reading Emma's journal aloud to stunned audiences. She says, "My sister didn't die because of a password. She died because someone believed they owned her. Because someone thought love meant domination." Today, Emma's name is remembered in legislation proposals, victim advocacy circles, and domestic abuse reform efforts. Her story has inspired new protective measures in smart home devices and safety features in app development. Emma's story is heartbreaking, but it's not isolated. Digital abuse is rising. Surveillance is no longer just about security cameras. It's in our pockets, our apps, our Reuters. If you or someone you love is experiencing signs of coercive control, especially involving technology, please reach out. Document your concerns. Seek support. You are not imagining it. Control often hides behind love. But love does not spy. Love does not isolate. Love does not kill. Please share this story. Talk about it. Start the conversation. And subscribe to True Crime Hub for more true crime stories that expose the shadows behind the screens, and the truths too many don't see until it's too late. Stay aware. Stay connected. Stay safe.